Welcome to the guide for Squire, the rookie of the team in the new Spy vs. Spy PvP game, Deceive Inc. I'm BlackTalon, and I'll teach you how to turn this Squire into a knight in shining armor. First, let's look at an overview of the character. Well, Squire is categorized as a Vanguard character. Vanguards are well-rounded, self-reliant fighters that can get through the thick and the thin. It may not seem like it, but Squire is an extremely strong character due to his optimal weapon potential and his abilities that are very practical in almost every situation, which is why such characters as him are described as well-rounded. Squire is definitely one of the top tier characters in this game, which I find fitting because based on his character background, he wouldn't seem like someone who fits that bill. But as we will see, this new recruit is anything but lackluster. Starting with his expertise or active ability, there are 3 different possible variations. First, Squire has his Eyes on the Prize ability. This will allow Squire to release a pulse that will detect valuable items in a large area around him. If you're playing in a team mode, this will also highlight the items for your teammates. Now this is very valuable, of course, because you can detect different items that are all around you, but this is especially useful to find those key cards and quickly gain access to priority rooms. The way you want to effectively use this expertise is you want to go into an area that is dense with possible items. You don't want to waste it in the middle of a hallway or somewhere that's kind of separate from everything else, but go somewhere where there could be a lot of different items in multiple rooms as well. And if you use this effectively, you can potentially be the first to get your hands on access to those vault terminals. His second variation is called Under Pressure. Squire can activate this ability to gain the amped up speed buff and increase his reload time for a short duration. This ability is great for closing in on an enemy, having better dodge ability in combat, as well as keeping the flow of ammunition going. Another great feature to this ability is that it will not remove your cover, so you can use this while in cover to get around the map more swiftly. Now, although some rivals might notice an NPC moving a little bit faster than others, 9 times out of 10, they won't be able to keep up with you, nor will they test their theory and see if you are a rival. I also enjoy using this ability when the vault opens so I can get to the package first, or when I have the package and I want to put some distance between me and my enemies to make them more concerned with keeping up with me rather than being strategic trying to take me down. His last variation is called Danger Sense, and this will allow Squire to create a large field around him that can detect if there is a rival within range. And the way this works is the field will be blue if there are no rivals detected. However, if it is red or turns red, that means that someone in that area is a rival, even though it won't tell you specifically who. This area will also follow Squire and his movements wherever he goes. Now, a key way to use his ability is that if you're in a sensitive area and you need to check if anyone is there with you that is a rival close by, you will turn on this ability just to see if your suspicions are correct. Also, if you're aware that someone in the area is a rival and you have an idea of who it might be, you can put down some gadgets or prepare for the fight to get the jump on them. Also, if you see somebody running towards you, you even might put up this field to see if it changes red as they get in range. Now we get to the part that really sets Squire above the standard, which is his highly powerful weapons. Now, his first variation is called Lance. This is a balanced silence pistol that does decent damage and is effective at close range. Now generally this is a balanced weapon, so it's not overly powerful, but it also is not weak, so used the proper way, you can get takedowns very easily. However, when we move to his second variation, Trident, we notice this variation is a 3-round burst fire pistol with a fast fire rate. This is where things really start heating up, as this weapon is very strong against enemies, especially to keep them on the reels. Some who might feel confident heading into an encounter with Squire may lose their confidence as they feel themselves getting hit constantly, as it does nice damage in good consistent waves. Now likely you fought against a Squire that seems to have knocked you down almost in no time. Well, this is most likely due to his last variation, the big and bad Javelin. Now this is a high caliber pistol that does high damage and effective at mid-range. Now this weapon can seemingly knock someone down in only a few shots, and it has a very good fire rate, so even if somebody initiates a fight surprisingly with you, all you have to do is return fire with a few shots and the tables will be turned. Truly a top tier weapon. Now let's add some more fuel to this fire with Squire's passive abilities. His first passive is called Always Ready. Now with this passive, if Squire receives damage, he will automatically receive the amped up speed buff. This is very useful if you get hit unexpectedly and you're not ready to hunker down for a fight. That way you can raise your speed and get out of the situation quickly. It's also great during a fight, as it will allow you to move a bit faster to dodge your enemy's fire, and you can return your own hits instead. So all around, this is a very useful ability in all situations. His second variation is called Sixth Sense. If someone blows Squire's cover, the enemy will automatically be traced for a short period of time, allowing you to see where they are even behind walls. Now personally, I haven't found a ton of use for this ability because if I'm hit by someone, I will clearly see who they are if I determine I'm going to fight them. On the other hand, if I'm not going to fight them, I certainly don't need to know where they are, where I'm focused on just getting away. However, some might have had success with this ability and found it useful in certain situations. If you're one who's found this useful, why don't you let us know down in the comments what you did or what you do, and we can take some notes and learn from you. His final passive, Aegis Cover, will allow Squire to keep his cover shield for a short duration even after his cover is blown. This will allow Squire to have some extra damage resistance in the beginning of a fight that can give you the time you need to knock down your enemy even if they initiate. Now let's look at gadgets for Squire. Now as always, there's an array of gadgets to choose from, and ultimately the right gadgets for you are the ones that fit your playstyle and how you want to work a map. So don't feel my suggestions are the best, really you can pick whatever you prefer. But honestly for Squire, there aren't many gadgets that significantly change the way he's played as a character. Since he is a Vanguard character, he is well-rounded in most areas, so gadgets that you use will really only excel you based on your playstyle. Some things you might experiment with, however, based on his abilities, is the bounce mat, for example. Since you have that speed boost on command, you might combine these two together to gain a little extra more launch power in different situations. You might even find some new heights that you can reach with this combo. Also, if you're in an area that your danger sense tells you has a rival in it, you may utilize some combat gadgets like Bulletbrella, the turret, or goo traps just to have some extra fighting power for the expected battle. Now let's talk about field upgrades for Squire. Now again with this, you are completely up to using the ones that fit your playstyle best. These are the ones that I choose, but don't feel that you have to use these are just the ones that I like. For example, I chose to put some extra health on in the early game, and I reserved my blue chip for the expertise cooldown. That way I can use my expertise more often in mid to late game, and I especially want to reserve my purple slot for the cover regeneration, so that way I can keep refreshing that cover buff as much as possible so I can keep that damage resistance. Also, this will allow me to use that speed boost when I take damage as often as possible. Now some tips for using Squire. Squire is truly a character that can find success in the hands of any player, whether you are passive or aggressive in your playstyle. If you're using the Eyes on the Prize ability, be sure to use this as much as possible, as you don't want to waste the time searching like everyone else. Also, don't be afraid to use that speed buff often. No other character can get around as fast as Squire, and he can do so without being detected. So use that to your advantage to get around a map much faster than everyone. Also, don't worry too much about players noticing you. Most players cannot accurately hit you when you're at that speed, and most won't even try. That's all I have for Squire. Give the video a like if you find this helpful, and subscribe if you want to see more of my content. Also, feel free to go down in the comments and leave some more tips for other players that are new and want some more information on. Typically, as part of my main videos, I always shout out a smaller channel to help them grow and get some more exposure as well. If you believe in my cause, please support the channel to make a bigger platform for those who really put their heart and soul into their content and they just need a little bit more help to succeed. But thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next video.